week one of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few hitters that are breaking out already and have been a surprise to start the early season. The first guy is Ryan McMahon of the Colorado Rockies. So McMahon, he's been on a tear already on the season. He's 8 of 18 from the plate, 6 runs scored, 4 home runs, including a 3-home run game last night, 7 RBIs, and a 444 batting average. So McMahon, he was a top prospect for years here for the Rockies, and he just really haven't gotten anything going throughout his career, is McMahon. But now here this season with this Rocky team, we'll see if he could get things going. Last season in the shortened year, he had 9 homers, 26 RBIs, and he's already almost halfway there. So on the season, April 1st, he didn't start that ball game 0 for 1. April 2nd versus the Dodgers, 2 for 4 with a run, a homer, 2 RBIs. April 3rd versus the Dodgers, 1 for 4 with a run and an RBI. April 4th versus the Dodgers, 1 for 3 with a run. And then last night, the huge ball game versus the Arizona Diamondbacks, 4 for 6 with 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. So McMahon, he qualifies in fantasy baseball at first, second, and third. And if this guy could have an everyday job, which it looks like he's going to, is McMahon. He's a player that should be rostered in all 12-team leagues or deeper. And right now, he's available in 53% of leagues, but he's off to a hot start. He leads the major leagues in home runs, even though obviously he hit 3 in a game, so that's going to help him mightily. But Ryan McMahon, he's breaking out, and this could be the season where the former top prospect puts it all together. The next batter is Taiwan of the Cincinnati Reds. So Naquin in the offseason, he left Cleveland to go to Cincinnati. And I made a video early in the offseason when he signed that he probably won't have much fantasy value. But right now in the early going, he's proven me wrong as Naquin. On the season, he's 5 of 14 from the plate with 4 runs, 3 homers, 12 RBIs, at 357 batting average and a 500 on-base percentage. And last season, he had 4 homers and 20 RBIs, and already in 5 games, he's almost just about there, Naquin. And Naquin, he's been playing every day here, except the opener for the Cincinnati Red team. April 3rd, 1 for 2 versus St. Louis with a run and 2 RBIs. April 4th versus St. Louis, 1 for 5, a homer, and 3 RBIs. April 5th versus Pittsburgh, 0 for 2. And then last night, he had an amazing game versus the Pirates. 3 for 4, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. So right now, Naquin, he's a mainstay in the lineup. He's batted first now, 4 games in a row for the Cincinnati Red team. And today with the 12:35 special ball game that Cincinnati usually does on Wednesdays, it seems like he's batting first once again. So Naquin, he's available in a whopping 94% of fantasy leagues. And right now, he's a guy definitely breaking out and surprising me. The next player is Yasmin Mercedes of the Chicago White Sox. So he was a hot pickup earlier in the week as Mercedes. He's already doing things that we haven't seen in a very long time. He started the season 8 for 8 was Mercedes. So now he's going to be an everyday hitter here for this White Sox team, especially with Lowe out 5 to 6 months. So Mercedes on the season, 13 for 23, a home run, 6 RBIs, and 4 runs scored with a 565 average and a 583 on base. So Mercedes, April 2nd, 5 for 5 with a run and 4 RBIs. April 3rd, 3 for 4 with a homer and 2 RBIs. April 4th at the Angels, 1 for 5. April 5th at Seattle, 3 for 4 with 2 runs. And then last night at Seattle, 1 for 5. So Mercedes, he's hitting the ball hard. He's a big guy too. 5'10", like 260. So this guy, he's got tons of power. And he's got good contact and a good level swing. And he's a player that owners, they didn't play around and they went there and got him. And he's only available in 29% of fantasy leagues. And most people didn't even know about him coming into the season. So he's definitely a surprise and a guy breaking out here. The next player is Cedric Mullins of the Baltimore Orioles. So early in the week, I said Mullins, he was a recommended pickup here in fantasy baseball. And on the season, Mullins, he's 11 for 21 so far with 4 runs scored, a stolen base, which is good for a 524 batting average and a 545 on base percentage. So Mullins, it looks like he's playing every day for this team and batting first April 2nd at Boston, 2 for 4 with a run. April 3rd at Boston, 2 for 4. And the big game for him at Boston was April 4th, 5 for 5 with 3 runs scored. April 5th at the Yankees, 1 for 4. And last night versus the Yankees, 1 for 4 with a stolen base. So Mullins, he's a mainstay, it looks like, on this Baltimore Oriole team. And obviously he's batting first. So this guy's got speed. He's a good contact hitter, and he don't strike out much as well. So Mullins, he's definitely a pickup and definitely a surprise, especially after that 5 for 5 game a couple nights ago. And he's available in 81% of fantasy leagues. And let's see if he could keep this up. Fifth and final hitter that's a surprise so far is Nate Lowe of the Texas Rangers. So Lowe here, he's been on a tear since he signed with his new ball club in the offseason. Last season, Lowe, it wasn't a good year for him. 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, a 224 batting average, and a 316 on base. But already this season, he's 8 for 21, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. So he has more RBIs already than last season, and 4 runs scored for Lowe with a 381 batting average and a 409 on base. So Lowe, he's tearing the cover off the ball, and he's a big hitter for this Texas Ranger team. He plays in a hitter's ballpark, and he's a big power guy that reminds me of a Joey Gallo type who's on his team, obviously. April 1st, 2 for 6 with a run and 4 RBIs. April 3rd, 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. April 4th for Lowe, 2 for 4 with a homer and 3 RBIs. April 5th, 1 for 4 with an RBI. And then last night, the biggest game of the year for him, 2 for 3 with 2 homers and 4 RBIs. So Nate Lowe, he leads the league in RBIs with 14. And he has an RBI in every game already this season. So this guy, he should be picked up in pretty much all fantasy leagues. And he's available somehow in 48% of fantasy leagues. But he's been a surprising breakout. And he's a guy that's going to have a great season, it looks like. So that's a few hitters that have been surprising breakouts so far in week 1 of the fantasy baseball season.